Hey guys, it's Gamer here, this time with another video on Honkai Star Rail. So, quick update about my channel. I haven't been able to be active on YouTube for a while due to personal issues, and I apologize. I am looking to get back into making videos and more content. I am going to mostly focus on making content for Honkai Star Rail and Reverse 1999. Which comes out later this month. For Snowbreak, I'm holding off on making content right now since I feel like the updates to that game are really slow and the game hasn't really taken off popularity wise. So I'll be mostly focusing on Honkai Star Rail and Reverse 1999 for now. And maybe I'll look into making content for other gacha games if my schedule opens up and a game catches my interest. So for this video is going to be a guide on the new 5-star character, Jing Liu. I'm going to go over her skills, her trace priority, best routes to put on her best light tones, her team comps, and much more. So with all that said, let's get into it. I'm going to do a quick overview of Jing Liu and her skills. Jing Liu is a 5-star DPS character. Her element is ice and she is a Path of Destruction unit. Her basic attack is pretty much like most basic attacks for other characters. So for Jing Liu, you want to make sure you're managing your skill points correctly. You never want to use her basic attack since her skill and ultimate is where her damage comes from. Her skill has two variations. The first variation of her skill does single target damage and gains 1 stack of syzergy. The second variation of her skill comes when she's in her spectral transmigration state, which comes from her talent, which I'll talk more about later on. This variation of her skill does not consume skill points. And in this variation of her skill, the skill becomes a cleave. This means that she does most of her damage to a main target with splash damage to adjacent enemies. And this variation of her skill decreases a stack of syzergy when used. Her ultimate is also a cleave and costs 140 energy, and her ultimate gains her 1 stack of syzergy. Her talent is where I'll talk about her spectral transmigration state. She can get into the state by building 2 stacks of syzergy, which she gains by using the normal version of her skill, by using her ultimate, or by her technique. When she enters this special state, she gets a massive increase to her crit rate, and her action moves forward by 100%. When she's in this state, this is when her skill becomes enhanced. Also in this state, she consumes the HP of her allies by 4% of their max HP to boost her own attack. When she runs out of stacks of syzergy, she returns to her normal state. So her technique creates an ice shield around Jing Liu where she can freeze enemies by walking near them. By using this technique and entering battle, she freezes all enemies for 1 turn and gains 15 energy, and then also gains 1 stack of syzergy. So a quick tip on playing her: you always want to use her ultimate when she's in her special state. That's because the state gives a boost to her crit rate, and there's a trace that also gives a 20% damage increase to her ultimate when she's in that special state. The ultimate also gains 1 stack of syzergy, and this prolongs her special state. So here I'm going to talk about her trace priority. Once again, you never really want to use her basic attack, so you can leave this at 1 if you want to. You want to get the traces that boost her stats as soon as you can, especially the crit damage boost. So this is her trace, which increases the damage of her ult. So you want to get this as soon as you can. So the main trace you want to focus on is going to be her skill. So this should be your #1 priority. The other traces are her ultimate and her talent, which are also important to keep up with maxing out the damage of Jing Liu. Her best relic set is going to be 4-piece Hunter of the Glacial Forest, which increases ice damage and also crit damage. Another alternative relic set is Musketeer of Wildwood, which gives a 12% boost to attack and another 10% increase to attack with 4-piece, as well as a 6% speed increase. You can run 2-piece Hunter of Glacial Forest and 2-piece Musketeer of Wildweed if you wish. For her planar ornaments, her best in slot would be Rutilant Arena, which increases her crit rate and also increases her skill damage if her crit rate is 70% or higher. Basic Stealing Station also works by increasing attack by 12% and also giving another 12% attack increase if Jing Liu's speed is 120 or higher. There's also the Celestial Differentiator set, which I'm using now. The set increases crit damage and also increases her crit rate when her crit damage is 120% or higher, but this only works for the first attack. I'm looking to make the switch to Rutilant Arena once I find the right relic pieces with the right main stat. So for her body piece, you want crit damage as the main stat. For her boots, you want speed, but attack also works. For her sphere, you definitely want ice damage boost as the main stat. For her robe, you're going to want attack as the main stat. For substats, you're mostly looking for attack, crit rate, crit damage, and speed. Best light cone is going to be her signature light cone that you can get from the current light cone banner. The signature light cone is I Shall Be My Own Sword, which increases her crit damage and also has an effect which makes her gain stack of Eclipse. The stack increases her damage by 14% up to 3 stacks max, and these stacks are gained whenever an ally gets attacked or lose HP. For free-to-play players, there is a 5-star light cone that you can get from the Herta store. It's called On the Fall of an Aeon, and this is the light cone I'm using. The light cone increases her attack by 16%, with more increased damage for 2 turns when Jing Liu brings an enemy weakness. Claire's signature 5-star light cone, something irreplaceable, also works well on her, increasing attack by 24%, and also restoring HP when Jing Liu is hit or defeats an enemy. And it also increases her damage more until the end of her next turn. For 4-star light cones, one option is Demo Welcomes You, which gives stacks that can increase her attack. A Secret Vow also works, which increases damage by 20% and an extra 20% damage to enemies with higher HP than Jing Liu. Her Eidelons are strong but not really practical for free-to-play players. Her first Eidelon increases crit damage as well as single target damage. Her second Eidolon increases the damage of her enhanced skill by 80% when she uses her ultimate. Her fourth Eidolon increases the attack she gains from consuming her allies' HP when she's in her special state. Her sixth Eidolon increases her crit damage by 50% when she's in her special state. For team comps, you want to play around the fact that Jing Liu drains HP from her allies. You want at least one character to sustain your team. The best options include Locha, who can do a lot of healing without using a lot of skill points. Another good option is Fu Xuan, who can increase the max HP of your team, increase their crit rate, and reduce a lot of damage. If you don't have those units, any healer would do, including Natasha, Lynx, or Bailing. The other parts of your team can be flexible. You can run Ting Yun, who can increase the damage and energy regeneration rate for Jing Liu. You can run Pella, who can reduce the defense of enemies. You can run Asta, who can increase the speed of your team. You can also run Yukong, who also increases the damage of your team. You can run Bronya, who can also buff Jing Liu. You can run Silverwolf, who can make enemies have ice wounds. So the last slot of your team is also pretty flexible. You can run a unit that gives buffs, you can run another DPS unit, or you can even run another unit that can sustain your team. A really good DPS option is to use Blade if you have him. He works very well with Jing Liu and Locha. So an example of this team would be Locha, Blade, Ting Yun, and Jing Liu, which is very strong. If you don't have Blade, you can put any other DPS unit like Fu Shang, or Qing Chu, who is very strong at E6. Also keep in mind that Qing Chu is also on Jing Liu's banner right now. Once again, you can run another sustain unit. I'm looking to have a team of Fu Xuan, Lynx, Ting Yun, and Jing Liu. And I'm looking to run this team as soon as I have Lynx built up. Lynx is really good at healing and can also increase max HP even more, and she's really good at removing debuffs, which can become a big problem during later stages of Memory of Chaos. At E4, Lynx can increase the attack of Jing Liu with her talent. Do keep in mind that doing this increases aggro on Jing Liu since she is a destruction unit, but if you have both Fu Xuan and Lynx on the same team, it's a lot of sustain to the point where it does not matter as much. I think Jing Liu is a very strong DPS unit that can work fully depending on the state of your account. He does work well with units like Blade and Locha. So I definitely look into getting her if you have those units. Also keep in mind that Jing Liu's banner also has King Yun, King Chu, and Sampo. King Yun is one of the best supports units in the game. King Chu is a really strong DPS unit at E6. Sampo is currently the best DOT unit to work with Kafka. For me, pulling Jing Liu was a no-brainer. I do have Kafka as DPS for one team. The other team, I tried units like Yanqing and Clara, and I'll be real, they weren't really doing the damage I wanted, and I got to the later Memory of Chaos stages. If you already have strong DPS units like Seele and Inhibitor Danhan, and you have them built up, and you want to save your Stellar Jade, or have a future upcoming character you really want, maybe you don't want pull for her. Do keep in mind that Jing Liu is a DPS unit that can see being on top of the meta for a while. So that's it for my guide on Jing Liu. The next units for 1.4 include Topaz, another 5-star DPS unit that's up the Fire Element and Path of the Hunt. There's going to be a 4-star unit, Wei Nai Feng, who is a Fire Element and Path of Nahedi. There's also going to be a Seele rerun, and Seele was a very strong Quantum DPS unit. So 1.4 is definitely a big patch with a lot of strong waifu characters. I'm looking to make content for all these characters when the next part of 1.4 comes out. If you like this video and want more content on Honkai Star Rail and other gacha games, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.